My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, a show about 6 little horses that like to discover the magic of friendship by solving friendship problems and learning life lessons along the way. As the guardians of the elements of harmony, they are always ready for a challenge, no matter what it could be. But what would be considered a threat to them? This is where it gets interesting. Villains, 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 villains. That's what My Little Pony needs. True, hardcore, over-the-top villains. We got a Draconequus that can manipulate space and time to his will, an evil bug queen that can change into anyone with her army of bugs, an evil king that took over an entire kingdom and turned its pony citizens into slaves, a centaur that can absorb magic and kill anyone, and your greatest nightmares coming to life with Nightmare Moon. The minor villains don't really pose a threat, but they are still characters you don't want to mess with. They're more of a mini-boss for what's to come later in the season. These are just villains who want to watch the world burn. Why must you keep reforming them? It's getting to the point where whenever we see a really cool villain, there's a possibility they're gonna end up becoming best friends. I don't think everything that comes into the show needs to be reformed. Diamond Tiara, for an example. She wasn't a villain, but instead was a really mean bully who did real damage and made fun of disabled ponies. But in the end, what happens to her? It turns out that she was just pressured by her stuck-up mother. What a letdown! It would have been way better if she didn't have a backstory and just did it because she thought it was fun. I understand that the show is meant to teach the little kids about the values of friendship and that you should make friends with everyone, but there's going to be a part where you cannot make friends with certain people. The entire roster of the villains who are reformed are outweighing the villains who are still evil. The villain who is actually a real threat and made me think, holy crap, they're not going to be able to defeat this character, was Starlight Glimmer. Time traveling, causing interdimensional rifts between space and reality. I was glad to see the damage she caused, but I was more disappointed when I found out it was all because her boyfriend left her as a kid. Now that she's reformed, she's pretty much useless and is only thrown in episodes when the plot demands her. As for the other minor villains, they need to be left alone, or at least brought back in a way where we're actually still terrified of them, where they could just change in an instant. Right now, it's getting annoying when we see a villain that can do real harm to the ponies get reformed within 2 episodes. I noticed a pattern, that whenever we get an old character that comes back, they get reformed. Lightning Dust, please stay gone. Discord. Now, I completely understand why they reformed him. They wanted to keep using John Delancey, but because of this, he's not really a threat anymore, just more of an annoyance. The villains are supposed to be something that we're truly terrified of to see our favorite characters try to handle the situation with them. T-Rex was the only real one I was pretty terrified of. I want to get that feeling again, a sense of nervousness of how our main characters are going to get through it. I understand that My Little Pony is supposed to represent good morals, life lessons, and all that sugar-coated candy stuff. I don't mind reforming certain characters like Gilda, but I don't think all of them need to be good. The world is a very cruel place that has a lot of good and bad in it. It's the ones who are willing to take the time to actually understand what they are doing and to figure it out themselves if they want to do the right thing or not. And if not, there's no changing them. Remember when the villains were actually bad? Sweet Apple Acres does.